So today we will be performing a tool demo for an eye tracking plugin for Eclipse called iTrace. It was developed in the Software Engineering Research and Empirical Studies Lab in the Department of Computer Science and Information Systems at Youngstown State University. Before we begin the demo, we will discuss the main features iTrace provides. It implicitly collects eye movement data while the developer works on change tasks. It also supports different software artifacts such as source code, requirements, test cases, and so forth. It automatically maps eye movements to source code elements such as if statements, method calls, while statements, variables, and so forth. It supports horizontal and vertical scrolling while maintaining accurate mapping of eye movements to source code elements. This is the first eye tracking environment that supports scrolling, thereby providing a means to conduct eye tracking studies on large open source code bases. And it also exports session and fixation data. This exported data can be used by researchers to analyze the eye movements. So we will now begin a short demonstration of iTrace. Here is our iTrace application running in Eclipse. Our plugin down here is the iTrace controller. And we'll be using the Tobii X60 eye tracker, but iTrace also supports the Mirametrix S2 eye tracker. Right now we'll open the preferences for iTrace and show you that you can also select the system mouse tracker as a proxy for testing, but we're going to be using the Tobii tracker. Okay, and so in this demo we'll be looking at JabRef, and JabRef is an open source bibliography reference manager written in Java. So the first step to using the iTrace controller is to enter your session information. And so you have your generated session ID here, and you can select your session purpose. We'll just select any, a bug fix. And then now we can enter the session description. We'll just put this as a demo. And select OK. And then we'll enter our developer username. You have to have this, and you have to enter alphanumeric characters only. And then we'll enter our developer name. This is optional. Okay, so now we can select our files we want to export, and we'll select JSON and XML, and we can also look at the file name that our broad cases will export to. And we can also see the XML one. Alright, so now we can calibrate the eye tracker. When I press the calibration button here, I will be following a red dot with a black circle around it with my eyes. Now in the left top corner, you'll see the calibration status. And so you can see that many of the left and right eye gazes are in small clusters, and so we have a pretty good calibration here. But we can also display the crosshair, and you can see where I'm looking on the screen. And from this we can set our X and Y drifts in case the calibration isn't to our liking. But we'll leave it at 0 for now. Okay, and so we're now ready to begin tracking, and so when I begin tracking, we'll be trying to fix a bug in the JabRef system. And so in the bottom of the screen, we have our bugs as text files, and then when I start tracking, our eye movement data is actually collected on the source files as well as the bug report shown at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so now we're ready to begin tracking, so we'll go back to the iTrace controller and we'll start tracking. So now I'm looking around the screen. We can also display the crosshair while we're tracking if you wanted to see that, but it's a little bit distracting. And so I'm going to go in and I'll look at our text files, and I'll be looking at what bugs I need to fix to gather some data. And then, so now I'll look back up at the source code. Specifically, I'll be scrolling around, I'll be changing files, and it's still collecting data uninterrupted. I look around some more, and I can even perform a search, which I have here, have already done here. That doesn't interrupt your eye tracking. So we've collected quite a bit of data, so we'll stop here. So we'll select the stop tracking button. And now we can show you the raw gazes that have been generated. We'll go up a directory. So our new files have been outported here, and we'll open the XML file in Notepad. So we'll scroll over. I want to highlight specifically somewhere in here. It should say I was looking at an if statement. We also, it shows here we were looking at a method within an if statement within a method. And so we're done with this for now. We can go back to our iTrace controller. And so now that we have these raw gazes, we can run a fixation filter on them. We're actually going to use data that was pre-generated. So I'll select my JSON fixation filter. And now I'll be able to select the files that I want. Actually, what I'm gonna do is, because it's gonna yell at me, we'll actually use the XML filter. I already ran processed gazes on that file, and so we're just gonna select the XML one. So now it should, you won't be able to tell, but in the background it's running the fixation filter. So we're just going to pop up our file folder, and when the files are processed, you'll get a processed gazes, you'll get your username and session ID, and you'll get .xml from that file. It takes about 30 seconds for a 20-minute worth of raw gazes, which is approximately 50 megabytes. Oh, here we go. And so now we'll take a look at it. What I really just want to point out here is the duration. You now have a duration for your fixation, and a lot of other data that has been merged between raw gazes, like your right pupil diameter, left pupil diameter, and so forth. So those are some samples, and we'll get rid of that. And we'll go back, because that is the end of our demo. So we'll go back to our PowerPoint to show you our iTrace information. So we do have a homepage and a GitHub repository at the following links, and we have our contributors here. And if you have any questions or concerns, please email us at the address provided. And thank you for watching.